in September, which rebutted or pushed back against allegations that the president's conversation with the Ukrainian leader in July 25th and the hold on military assistance were part of a quid pro quo involving an investigation of Joe Biden. The good news is with that 9:30 news conference, Adam Schiff will be able to ask him some of our other questions about why he was.
Well, Calvin and Janice, Senator Rubio is saying that the president.
What do you think?
You know, it's funny. Me that, and I'm thinking, you know, it's hard to say my opinion on national TV because I could very well be wrong. But let me tell you what I thought.
Ben, the case against Corey Morgan involving mostly circumstantial evidence from cell phone records to a witness who's
What we do here is go back.
Politics, entertainment, current events. The Intersection brings it to you real on the Voice of Reason station on Dash Radio.
With Senator Isadore Hall and Nikki Flores, live every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Voice of Reason channel on Dash Radio.
Well, welcome. I'm Senator Isadore Hall.
I'm Nikki Flores.
And you are on the Intersection. We're so happy to be on Vibe Free Station right here broadcasting live out of Inglewood, California today. Inglewood! And we are also hijacking Zoe Williams' YouTube station. So I want to thank all of you for listening and dialing in. We are The Intersection. I'm happy to be here. And make sure you tune in and follow us on The Intersection Live on YouTube. Thank you, Dash Radio. You're the best. And so we got a lot of drama that's unfolding in this place called the United States of America. It seems like it's all kind of chaos and havoc happening at the White House under the administration of what we call Trump Nation. So we're going to, I mean, what in the heck is going on? There's complete mayhem, and we are literally, my friends, you are watching live unfold a constitutional crisis that you've never seen before in the history of America. And I'm even saying the Nixon scandal was not even this bad.
Oh, no.
Listen in.
It's the worst.
We heard from lawmakers that they were expecting Gordon Sondland on the Hill in this closed-door transcribed interview. It's not under oath, but there's the same impact if the witness lies or misleads investigators. And then the last few minutes, we got confirmation that the Democratic chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Adam Schiff, will be holding a news conference at 9:30 Eastern to take reporters' questions. Would seem now on the decision by the State Department to block this interview this morning with Gordon Sondland. He matters because he sent a series of text messages in September which rebutted or pushed back against allegations that the president's conversation with the Ukrainian leader in July 25th and the hold on military assistance were part of a quid pro quo involving an investigation of Joe Biden. The good news is with that 9:30 news conference.
Yeah, so here we are, Sondland ambassadors, obviously working with Donald Trump to try to conceal chaos and some type of buffoonery or trickery, where there was a ploy to invite to investigate Vice President Biden.
Right. Well, this is one of like the two main ambassadors that we like really need to talk to about this whole incident. The other one is the one who already testified,
Right.
Volker, and he testified because he's not an employee. He resigned, which gave him the freedom to just be a citizen and testify if he so chooses. This EU ambassador would apparently need to do the same thing to testify, as he is bound by policies and rules that are associated with the executive branch that he's connected to. But his lawyer statement was like, oh, he wanted to testify, that he flew in from Brussels for this especially, and you know what I mean, and he's ready to testify at the drop of a hat, which is different than most of them say. They might say like, yeah, I wanted to testify, but they're not like, and I'm available. At least he said he was available. So if they can fix that out. He also didn't say he was going to resign to testify either, so it doesn't really matter that much to him.
No, what the good stuff is on here, and I love this kind of stuff because you read right into the middle of the drama. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, by the way, I was going to tell you, but I decided not to. Oh, I give all these text messages saying how he says, hey, by the way, are we saying that we are going to exchange money for a favor? 3 hours later, Sondland says, oh, we shouldn't text, just call me. 5 hours later, he sends this lawyery dialogue basically saying, oh, you misunderstood. Donald Trump is not trying to sell the nation for a favor.
He just cut and pasted that script.
He cut and pasted a script. He went to his lawyer and basically said, hey, I think we have some exposure here. I think I put our asses out. And please give me some gibberish to send 5 hours later just in case we're investigated by the feds. And guess what happened? Boom, 5 hours later, he sends another text, basically countering everything he said before, thinking that the American people will be stupid, and you are busted dead on because we see the games in it.
Mm-hmm.
Strict gamesmanship. And it's interesting that they're blocking his testimony because
they're going to block all testimony.
Well,
that's all that means.
But
they're going to block everybody's testimony. If you work for Trump, you can't testify. Is his rules.
It's gross. What I consider to be it's obstruction of justice at its best.
For sure.
Since when do you get a chance to tell Congress, yes, I committed a crime, right? And I'm going to still obstruct justice in your face and say it's okay. Since when do you do that? Well,
he's trying to control the impeachment process. You can't control your own investigation against you. Like, that's not how it works.
No, it isn't. And in fact, not only is he trying to control his own impeachment process, but it's also noted, I don't know if you saw the post, that 33% of the Republicans believe that an impeachment inquiry should move forward. Mm-hmm. Now, this is up 22% from last month. So in 1 month, additional 22% of the Republicans feels as if an impeachment inquiry should move forward, which basically says that the nation is not fooled by the chaos that's going on in the White House. Of course, 87% of Democrats feel that an inquiry should move forward. The question is, will the Democrats hold strong as the Republicans are playing hardball, trying to block Trump from being able to move to be impeached?
I hope so. They need to exhibit some strength. You know what I mean? Like, show a sign of force. Not just be reactive. You know what I mean?
Would you agree? Would you agree that the Republican Party, they play tough? You know, those boys play hardball. Mm-hmm. The Democrats are always, we want to play nice. We want to do things right. You know, this is America. We got to have integrity and show our voters that we're operating with integrity. The Republicans say, blow up everything. We're fine. We'll figure it out after we blow up everything.
Yeah, Democrats steady trying to play by the rules that the opposing team is not playing by. So what does it matter? Like, what are you holding yourself to?
Right. You cannot fight an army that's shooting missiles at you with a butter knife.
Right.
You can't do that. You know, if they're firing missiles, you had better damn well go get you some missiles or fire missiles back.
It's time to get that ammo.
I mean, come on. I'm not going to show up in a war with a butter knife thinking that I'm good. You know, I mean, David and Goliath is real, but come on now. This is 2019. We have to fight differently, right? And we've got to show force with force, right? And right now, the Republicans are basically saying, their spin is now, did you really think Trump was serious? He was joking. Everybody's now they're on this he was joking thing, and we're gonna hear about that a little later. But anyhow, tune in. Make sure you follow us on the Intersection Live. We want to thank Zoe Williams for allowing us to hijack his YouTube station.
Shout out to the Zoe What Show.
Shout out to the Zoe What Show. And if you have not seen, have you seen the Zoe What hats and shirts that he sells? Outstanding.
Swag.
Outstanding.
I gotta get some of that.
Swag. But Zoe is like a swag guy too himself. Yep. So he's like an exemplar in his own right. Let's move on.
Rubio's saying that the president simply was not being serious, but Donald Trump has made it very clear he is serious about corruption. Today, saying he has the absolute right to investigate corruption with any foreign country. The president also saying today that he will not cooperate with Democrats or release the documents at this point that they're requesting.
We'll be issuing a letter.
The president now telling House Speaker Nancy Pelosi he will not hand over any documents until the full House votes on opening an impeachment inquiry.
Mr. Messer, what are you going to tell them?
This after Trump's former envoy to Ukraine gave an avalanche of text messages to the House Intelligence Committee, showing the president wanted Ukraine to launch an investigation into Joe Biden before he would meet with its president, Volodymyr Zelensky. Volker texting Ukraine's top diplomat heard from the White House, assuming President Z convinces Trump he will investigate, get to the bottom of what happened in 2016, we will nail down date for visit to Washington. The senior U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, Bill Taylor, also texting, I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with the political campaign. More than 4 hours later, Ambassador Gordon Sondland responding, I believe you are incorrect about President Trump's intentions. The president has been crystal clear, no quid pro quos of any kind. Investigate or have investigated.
I don't care about anything, but I do care.
It's all a figment of our imagination. This just doesn't exist, right?
No. I'm not having this at all. The President of the United States is not supposed to be on the White House lawn or near any helicopter about to take off somewhere and joke about national security, joke about global economy,
right.
Just flippantly, and it's a joke, and we're just supposed to accept that, even though he didn't tell us it was a joke, and still won't admit that it was supposedly a joke. Like, no. Right. Rubio came up with that, and without any specific messaging from the White House that trickled down to all the Republicans, that became the message. They was like, "Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it's a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Yeah. Let's go with that."
But little hand Rubio. Little hand Rubio knows better.
He does.
You know, this is little hand Rubio is the one that was debating Trump, and Trump says, "Little Rubio, your hands are so small, and you're perspiring because your hands are so small. Is that any indication of anything else in your life?" You know, and so this is a guy that basically beat him with a bat, and now Rubio is coming up talking about this is a joke. You know, I don't understand this. What you got, Neil?
Well, he just released a statement today
saying,
I don't think that what he said was right. I don't agree with it. But then he says he only did this remarks to provoke the media.
Yeah. So again, buffoonery at its best. Right?
Like as if that was okay. As if the media doesn't serve a purpose. As if it's not a part of our Constitution. Like, get out of here. We got free speech and all of that. We protect the press here. So that doesn't even make any sense, Phil.
Well, let's dig deeper then. If that is in fact true, so now we have a president that just sends chaotic messages to provoke the media, to cause a disturbance amongst the citizens of America.
Yeah. Do they want to admit he does that with the stock market too?
That in of itself, right? That in of itself is wrong.
Yep.
I don't know which is worse, actually. So basically, he's saying, you know, he did that to basically mislead America. I mean, it's all saying the same thing, right? You're basically saying to the American people that we are stupid and we are idiots and we can't tell or be able to decipher right from wrong.
Right, or like we don't know when he's making a joke.
Right. Well, it's not a joke.
He makes jokes on the campaign trail.
Right.
That's the only place he makes jokes.
Well, we got receipts, though. That's the real thing, right? We've got receipts on this. We've got text messages, and we've got collaboration and participation from ambassadors and your attorney and all these other idiots, all other Trumpmen in the White House. You've got all these people, participating in this big scam and cover up to the nation. And Rubio says that it was a joke. Who's the joke really on, Nikki? Who's the joke really on? And I asked the viewers, who do you think the joke is really on? Because I don't think our viewers and I don't think the American people are actually that ignorant to the facts and to the events that are going on right here in the United States of America. Quite honestly, this is a disaster. I don't see how anyone would be able to actually re-elect this president that they call 45. I don't know. It's just me. I don't know, but I don't see how we do it. And I don't think we have too many other options, weighing out there, electable options other than ones we have. And we've got 3 or 4 primary or solid contenders in the Democratic Party. I think all of them would do good in comparison to what we have right now.
And I don't even know who they would be running against. I mean, Trump or
Pence.
He ain't gonna run.
Well, if Trump is impeached, he probably will.
We hoping that they all go down together.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi would be president if that's the case.
Oh yeah, she's third.
She's third in command. Yeah. Well, you have woman power as president.
We gonna see what's gonna happen. It's all up in the air right now. It's just changing from.
Change the game. Let's move on.
People ask me that, and I'm thinking, you know, it's hard to say my opinion on national TV because I could very well be wrong. But let me tell you what I thought. I mean, I think that he does a lot of things to save face, and I could give you examples, but we don't have time. But I mean, there are some things that, you know, he can't control, and he's now at the point where he can't control this. He can't do anything about this. It would be very, very, very bad for him to be impeached. I don't know that he'd be found guilty, but I don't think he wants to be impeached. I think that's what this panic is about. And my gut tells me he'll leave office, he'll resign, or make some kind of a deal even, depending on what comes out.
All right, there's the prediction. It's always is nervous to do that on TV.
Now, this is the lady, she was the vice president of operations and construction operations for Donald Trump organization. And so she is very familiar with all of the mayhem and the havoc and the shenanigans that exist within the Trump organization. Apparently, she screwed him, or he screwed her over, too, no pun intended. But apparently, he did her a bad job. And so she's basically said, hey, look, I know this guy, and he wants his name to be protected. He would much rather resign than to be impeached. Now, and of course, in order for, you know, the House can impeach, but the Senate has to basically hold the trial, basically confirm or ratify the impeachment. She's saying that he'd resign.
I hear what she's saying, but he's not going to resign until it's like the day before his impeachment vote. It's not like he's going anytime like, hey, let me just go ahead and, you know, it's been a good time. I'm going to go ahead and bow out now. He bows out, and then he knows everybody's coming for him with all kind of cases. Like, they're waiting for him to not be in office anymore for all this legal repercussions that don't have to do with impeachment. So I don't see him resigning in time to where it would be able to do anything to save him any face. Legacy ruined.
So do you think you think his ego is too big for him to resign?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. I think he's going to be his downfall, and I'm looking forward to that.
And so what about all of his kingsmen, all the kingsmen?
I think that's gonna there's gonna be this whole group of people who are gonna be trying to distance themselves from him after the fact, and then there's gonna be another faction of people who are gonna be like, it wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to figure out, like, how much of Trump are they going to really try to hold on to after he's gone, even from office, even if he's just not even just doesn't get elected again, say.
So if he doesn't get elected, so if he doesn't get elected, then what happens to all of the Republicans right now, the senators and the members of Congress that are hiding behind the back of Trump right now? They know that this is not right. If this were President Obama or President Clinton, all of this all this nonsense that you see, you wouldn't see any of that. In fact, they have Graham basically trying to validate his reasoning for impeaching Clinton. And for the same reason that he gave to impeach Clinton, he's now basically saying, oh, I don't feel that way about this one. So what's going to happen with the Republicans that are hiding their faces in the sand when it comes to Donald Trump? Do you think they will not be reelected? Do you think they will suffer?
Swept. They're going to get swept. I mean, if they don't have anything to stand on, and it's going to be clear when Trump is gone and they don't have his, words to repeat and say, oh, the fake news and all that. Like, none of what Trump makes an issue has made an issue of during his presidency will matter when he's not there anymore, because they're all manufactured issues. So it's going to be funny to see what they're really standing on, or if they're going to take a cue and be like, let's manufacture some more issues. Like, I don't know. There ain't no rules in politics anymore.
No, of course not. But I also feel that if the polls continue to rise in terms of Republican support for impeachment, the Republicans in some of these frontline areas, communities, they're going to have to start pushing back a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because now it's exposing their vulnerability. Not sure if they want that, if that will look good for them as they move into re-election mode.
Yeah, I think the only thing they can do to distance themselves is try and dial it back to the classic Republican, a conservative who, you know, small government and all that kind of stuff.
Which is way out of bag by now.
That's so far back in the rear view.
That ain't gonna happen. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. That ain't happening. It's not gonna happen. I don't see it. The Republican Party is no longer considered the family value type Republican Party. Okay, let's get that out of the way right now. That ain't gonna happen. You know, I mean, not when you talk about, how can you be a Republican talking about family values when you have a president talking about snatching somebody by the genitalia?
They done elected the Playboy president.
The Playboy president, you know, and you got the Christian conservatives talking about, we're gonna give him a mulligan. You know,
apparently forever.
Let them talk about snatching, you know, breast and genitalia and grabbing somebody by the pee and all that kind of nonsense as a president. You want to talk about family values and being a party of conservative values and whatnot. So he has ruined it for the Republican Party.
Sure has.
You know, quite honestly, I think the Democratic Party has now taken on the hat of being the party of family values. Because why? We're dealing in healthcare, we're dealing in voter rights, we're dealing in the LGBT community, and the LBGT and the other one, LGBTQ deal.
There's other letters too. It was like QTIA.
Yeah, yeah, all of those. But anyway, it's in there, somewhere in there. But it's in there. It's all wrapped.
Encompassing.
It's
all encompassing.
But anyway, let's move on.
Ben, the case against Corey Morgan involving mostly circumstantial evidence from cell phone records to a witness who says that she heard Corey, he was threatening retribution in an attack against family members. But in a grueling 3-week trial, prosecutors convincing jurors to convict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Corey Morgan, guilty of first-degree murder.
Corey Morgan hearing the verdict, the jury deliberating more than 10 hours to convict him of a shocking murder, what investigators describe as an execution-style revenge shooting in a Gresham neighborhood alleyway in 2015.
I think almost all of us standing here have children, and it takes a toll. It takes a toll on everybody, and the toll on us is nothing like the toll that it took on Tyshawn's family.
The 9-year-old boy's murder said to be revenge for a gang-related shooting of Corey Morgan's mother and brother weeks before Tyshawn Lee's brutal death. Morgan said to have watched Lee's execution from a nearby SUV.
A disaster. A 9-year-old's life gone too soon, too early. And quite honestly, I think this is what we're getting right now, right? This is what we're getting. I'm sorry, of Tyshawn Lee. I mean, I don't think this is something that we should ignore. I don't think it's something that we should say it is not relevant in today's society. More and more, you're seeing, unfortunately, in the streets of America, life being taken as a joke, right? You're seeing 9-year-olds slain. You're seeing 11-year-olds stabbed and slain on the wayside, and the outcry of sympathy, I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, the value of life. Where is the value of life? 9-year-old life taken too young, too soon. The value of life for 11-year-olds and 15-year-olds. Where is the value of life? And so we could talk about Corey Morgan being found guilty, but there are so many, from my perspective, so many Corey Morgans out there that just don't value life. I don't get it.
Well, I do want to talk about this case because, I mean, there was a 9-year-old boy who was executed.
Right.
You know, lured to an alley and told that he was going to be bought whatever he wanted, and was shot multiple times, a child.
Execution style.
Execution style, in retaliation for, as they were saying, Corey Morgan's brother was killed and his mother was wounded. And he wasn't even the one who was the shooter. Another man, I can't remember his first name, DeWright, Boone Doty, was the actual shooter, and he was also found guilty the same day. They're both facing life, and it's just like, they all knew each other.
Right.
Corey Morgan grew up with the Tyshawn Lee's mother. Clearly was a rival of Tyshawn's father, because that's what they were doing. They were trying to get back in retaliation for this murder of the brother. They were trying to hurt the other gang, and it wasn't even closely related. But they all were so closely related. Like, everybody knows each other. Like, you are a gang just on your block, and the next block over, like, families are intermingling. There's so much connection, and it's so sad. And that's, I think, where there's a lack of outcry, because so many people don't understand that. They think that people who are poor and live in the hood and live in messed up neighborhoods deserve it, and that they have earned it somehow. And people are born into that. That little boy was born into that. You can't tell me that he deserved what he got. So I think it's a lack of empathy for an other. And it's just seeing Chicago as just a whole other. And they have their issues, and it's because they aren't getting the care and concern that they deserve, the outcry and the help. And
and it's again, his life too young, too soon. And these are the stories that we're hearing every day in communities that are strapped financially. I don't like to say poor communities, because poor reflects a mental state to me. And I don't think in our communities that are financially strapped that we have poor people. We have communities that are financially strapped. We have rich people in poor communities, right? From my perspective. My family was raised in the hood, and I didn't know that we were financially strapped, if you will, until I was 17, 18 years old. Now, we didn't have we had no coins, but we lived in a strapped community in the hood.
Yeah, if your parents do it right, it takes you a minute to find out you poor. I got everything I need, though. Okay. And so my point is that the society looks upon, these communities and basically say, oh, they don't deserve anything. They're poor. They're socially poor. They're financially poor. They're lazy
and haven't worked hard enough. They have to work 3 part-time jobs. They don't have an education. They're not educated, so forth and so on. And so we don't get the resources.
Yep.
So you have young kids in a community like this without resources to help give them a level of empowerment, a self-esteem boost, and things like that. They have post-traumatic stress disorder because they're hearing gunshot wounds in the community, and they have to live that life every day, not realizing that those are stressors. What 9-year-old child should have to live a life where they're hearing gunshots, where they're hearing people dead, they're seeing people dead on the curbs, and that has to have some impact on them and their ability to move forward in life. Mm-hmm. And so if you don't have social services to combat that, then that 9-year-old or 10-year-old will live in a cycle, the same cycle that they're living in right now. And that will be their cycle that they live in for the rest of their life until they get, or if they even get treatment. And so our prayers are with this family. And unfortunately, this is a story that we hear so often, Nikki, of young boys' lives being taken too soon, too early because of gang rivals, and people just fighting over a block that they don't even own. Fighting over a block that they don't even own.
And when does it stop? When does back and forth stop? Like, when it's a life for a life, you just keep going into its mayhem and bloodshed on the block. I have a relative that lives in Chicago right now, and I got to tell you, I worry about him all the time because I know the crisis that Chicago is having right now, and they're saying these young black boys are just being popped every day at just incredible numbers. Yeah. And one of my
loved ones, relatives is there, graduated from college there, and is doing some exceptional things. But I'm like, you need to come on back to LA, and we'll figure this thing out here, because you being out there by yourself could be just a hint of a problem in the wrong area at the wrong time. And so, you know, our prayers goes out to the Lee family, and actually not just the Lee family, but to all the families involved, because all these families involved. And but I hope justice is served.
I mean, Corey Morgan, if he hadn't did this, he could have just been a victim.
Absolutely.
He had his brother and mother.
That's my point.
He wanted to inflict that on somebody else. And
right. So
sad.
Let's move on.
Good morning, Michael. This is a huge day here. The court will be taking up 3 cases and focusing on a crucial question for the country. To get a horn there, does the Great Civil Rights Act of 1964, which among many other things prohibits discrimination, quote, because of sex, protect gay and transgendered Americans? There's a skydiving instructor from New York, a state employee from Georgia. They say they were fired because they were gay. And a funeral director from Michigan says she was fired after she transitioned. They say this law should protect them. And their employers say Congress did not intend this law to mean that.
You know, the law is the law, right? And everyone should be protected under the law. Mm-hmm. And I'm very curious to see what the Supreme Court of the United States, SCOTUS, what they're going to take up and how they're going to rule on this. People who live under the flag of the United States of America and under the justice of America, everyone have rights. Mm-hmm. And you should be defended at work. You should be defended and protected at school. You should be defended and protected at church. Freedom of speech, freedom to live and be who you are should be protected. And I'm just really concerned, considering where we are as a country right now. I'm very concerned how the Supreme Court will rule.
Yeah, this whole fight over the definition of sex, and if because it says you cannot be discriminated against based on your sex, you know, race, religion, and all those things. And they're trying to decide if sex applies to your sexual orientation or if you are transgender or something like that. Are we just looking for a way to discriminate against some people?
Right.
If sex is going to count for gender, it counts for all genders, whatever you want to call them, intersex. Like, just stop playing. Like, are you looking for a way? Like, no, I think we can discriminate against you guys because you're not protected by this word that was written so many years ago. Like, and the whole thing about, like, the conservative judges are saying maybe push it back and let it be this. The law should take care of this, which I definitely agree with. The law should protect them, but don't try and say that it's not already a protection.
It's not applicable, right?
Who are we allowed to discriminate against here in the United States?
Right, that's my
Give me the list of people where it's okay and lawful for us to discriminate against them. If there's no person on that list, then what are we even doing?
What are we doing? Why are we having the conversation? You know, it's interesting because these conservatives, you know, they're hypocritical.
So hypocritical.
You know, because there are Republican legislators in some of these states, right? They voted against gay rights. And then there are stories where they were caught screwing boys on their desk in the Capitol.
Yep.
You know, and yet they were voting against gay rights. You know, and then you have conservative Republicans voting against gay rights until they find out that their daughter.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
Yeah, until they find out that their daughter is gay or lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
Cheney, for instance, it was his daughter, right?
Oh, well, maybe they're not all.
Right. Well, maybe not all of them are, because I just found out that my daughter is a lesbian, and so now, you know, maybe I should be a little more sensitive because
it's such a selfish
the stuff
way
hit the house.
To look at the world, that things that are okay with you are just okay in general. Like, you know, there's some things that are okay that you don't like. It's okay to not like them. Like, get over it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I don't like certain foods, right? But I'm not going to discriminate and keep other folks from liking certain foods because I don't like a certain dish.
Exactly.
You know, and so that's what we're getting here. And so, you know, everything is fine until it hits home.
Yep.
You know, and once it hits home, then it's a problem. You know, if HIV, this, that, and the other, then, once you get your family member that's getting ready to, go to see the Lord because of a STD or whatever, now you're concerned about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the Republicans are. They hide behind stuff until it hits home.
Or the crack epidemic versus the opioid
Exactly.
crisis.
Oh yeah, crack is horrible. We should get them in jail. But now my child is strung out on pills, and now
And somebody did that to her.
yeah, that's an opioid problem. Somebody did it to them. So they're just hypocritical.
Yep.
Hypocritical. I want to see what happens. We're gonna keep our viewers and our audience aware and informed as the Supreme Court takes on this case. Hopefully they do the right thing. As Spike Lee says, do the right thing. Hopefully they do the right thing and bring it where it needs to be. You're watching The Intersection on Zoe What's YouTube channel. We are broadcasting live right here at a Vibe Free in Inglewood on Dash Radio.
Vibe Free
Thanks
TV.
for watching us. Let's move on.
This is an honorable young man.
This morning, DeAndre Somerville, a changed man after 10 days behind bars.
It just showed me that, one small decision can really land you in here with people who made worse decisions.
The 21-year-old served his time last month after being held in criminal contempt of court, and that's not all. The judge sentenced him to 1 year of probation, 150 hours of community service, a fine, and ordered him to write a letter.
I end this letter with sincere apologies.
The apology after DeAndre says he overslept, missing his first day of a trial after being sworn in as a juror. In court Friday, Somerville read his letter, his lawyer making a plea to spare his criminal record. Afterwards, the 21-year-old responded to questions of whether 10 days in lockup was too harsh.
To a certain extent, but at the same time, I had to get punished. I should have came back.
The judge on Friday shedding some light on the initial punishment.
He was the only African American on the jury.
Okay, I'll go first.
I don't know. Go ahead, please.
I'm glad he learned a lesson. I wish that the judge could learn a lesson, but there's no lesson that the judge is going to learn in this situation, because I'd like to see the list of other jurors that he has responded to in this way, because it just seems a little excessive. However, like the young man said, it is a crime. There was a warrant and all that because he was sworn in as a juror and didn't serve his duty. But 10 days in jail is excessive. A year of probation, 10 days in jail, $223 fine, and write this letter of apology to the court. The only good thing is that he literally got his record cleared for all of this. But just this whole judge's song and dance about putting him in jail for 10 days and then saying he's a completely rehabilitated man and all this, like what? He was the same person. Like, stop it with the rehabilitation. You taught him how to sleep and wake up better? Like, get out of here. Like, there wasn't nothing wrong with him. No. He made a mistake. And there's consequences for mistakes made, but this 10 days in jail and trying to give this young man a record and put the fear of the law into him, I don't appreciate that at all.
Nikki, this was a bridge too far.
Yes.
Clearly, a bridge too far. Name me one person who hasn't overslept. The judge is late to court because the damn judge oversleeps. Name me one person who doesn't oversleep. The judge don't even have to put on a suit because they wear a robe. Because they oversleep and can't get dressed and they don't care, so they put on jeans and a t-shirt because they got a robe to put on, running up the stairs to get in the courthouse. And yet she puts this only African-American juror, young boy, in jail, makes a mockery of his life, drags him through social media, all this other nonsense, embarrasses him.
Yep.
By the way, the only African-American on the jury, and he, by the way, was not going to taint the jury. Why? Because they have alternates. They have alternate jurors. So he was not just gonna, put the jury in a gridlock. Whenever you are chosen as a member of a jury, and sworn in, there are also always at least 6 to 7 other alternate jurors. Because what about if you just drop dead? Are they going to have to go and create a whole new jury, or this damn trial continues? Put the other alternate in there. Let this boy maintain his dignity. Sure, let him write a letter. Make him stand up in the court and say, I apologize for being late, Your Honor. But to drag him. Now the whole world thinks that this one guy still has a criminal history, even though they, restored his dignity by removing the crime. It's like you shoot somebody, okay, we'll take the felony off now, you're good. No, he still assessed a record. He was still given a record. Embarrassed. They drug him in the court and in the community.
I'm not a fan of the write a letter to the court punishments, personally. It's too.
I'm not either.
Fine him and take all of your feelings out of it. You trying to get a personal apology, Judge? Get out of here. Get out of here. And apologize to my court. Because,
which is basically apologize to me.
Basically. Yeah. It's like, when a cop is hard up to arrest somebody because they felt disrespected.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right,
That's how I feel like she was just trying to stick it to him because she felt personally aggrieved. Like, get out of here.
Of course
Find him and let everybody move on with their life.
Yeah, so this guy now has a history. We didn't even know who he was. Now we all know who he is, and now we know who the judge is, with her crazy ruling on this case. We know exactly who she is or he is, and so forth and so on. But I'm glad now that at least he's regained some type of integrity, and he doesn't have to move forward with a criminal history or tag.
And he's taking it. He took it on the chin. Like, I earned some consequences. Maybe not those ones, but hey, I gotta take what I get. So
So make sure you follow us on the Intersection Live on our YouTube station. Make sure you follow us.
This morning, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver voicing his support for Daryl Morey, general manager of the Houston Rockets.
The long-held values of the NBA are to support freedom of expression, and in this case, Daryl Morey, as the general manager of the Houston Rockets, enjoys that right. I understand that there are consequences. We will protect our employees' freedom of speech.
Chinese state television reacting swiftly, announcing they will not air any NBA preseason games. In a statement, the network says, "We are strongly dissatisfied and we oppose Silver's claim to support Morey's right of free expression. We believe that any speech that challenges national sovereignty and social stability is not within the scope of freedom of speech." The controversy began when the Rockets' Morey fired off this tweet: "Fight for freedom. Stand with Hong Kong." Referring to the massive protest against China in the former British colony. The Chinese Basketball Association, run by former Rocket Yao Ming, immediately suspended all cooperation.
Democracy. What's wrong with democracy?
Adam Silver said a lot if it's going to touch his pockets. He said, hold on, he didn't say nothing. Sorry, China.
I started right.
Go on with what you're doing in Hong Kong. And we appreciate your business.
Can you believe that? Now the commissioner comes out. Now finally he comes out and basically, okay, we support people's right to express themselves and this, that, the other, blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. I think it's just crazy. What's interesting, it's amazing what people would do for the dollar.
Man.
That's real. That's real. And, in China and in Hong Kong, they love NBA. Mm-hmm. They love NBA. NBA is a big thing. The National Basketball Association is a big thing there. Mm-hmm. And for them not to be able to see the NBA games, it's like taking food out of their mouths.
Well, there are more viewers in China than in the United
Absolutely.
States of NBA games.
Right.
So it's a big deal to the NBA as a business partner. Right. But, some foreign country tells you, hey, your employee talking bad about us, and you just like, oh, sorry about that.
Right.
Like, what?
It's just crazy. I don't understand that.
It was dude's personal Twitter account.
Right.
He tweeted out a personal thought.
And that's fine.
That's all you got to do is be like, hey, that's not our view.
That's
not
right.
the NBA's view. You could have thrown him under the bus without throwing him under the bus. Like, I don't know. It was
crazy.
Funny.
$4 billion, 47 million subscribers and watchers on social social media, 133 million per team. This is a business.
This is business. This
They
ain't
love
personal.
basketball.
We don't have nothing to do about your freedom of speech. This is business.
You don't see anybody in the NFL saying anything about any of this other kind of stuff, political or what. And even though Trump is doing whatever he needs to do with China with the tariffs and stuff, you are messing with the NBA.
Say it again, the what?
The tariffs.
Tariffs.
Tariffs. That's that country. That's that country boy. that those tariffs.
Them there tariffs.
that country twang. Say it again. Yeah, but there's some tariffs. Oh, God, Jesus. But this is real. Yeah, no. To your point, Neil, this is really a business. This is a business, and I got to tell you what. People are going to think twice. People are going to think twice when they begin to tweet stuff like this about China and Hong Kong and so forth and so on, because they don't want this ripple effect to happen again. I guarantee you, because they put a stronghold on you over there. You know that, right? You know that, right?
On your business.
Yeah, on your business. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out. I think the commissioner over here is trying to take a stand and take a position and protect people's right to speak.
No, he ain't.
Well, that's what he said. That's what he said.
And homeboy wanted to testify, right? Everybody be out here jawsing.
He's like, yeah, I protect that, but we're losing billions of dollars. Right. But okay, let him.
Yeah, we support exactly what he said.
Right, it only took him a week to come out with it after he got so much criticism. But anyway, all right, let's move on.
I'd like to kind of open up, with a statement, something that I, was thinking about laying in my bed last night that I put together that I wanted to put out there. The football that I know and love brings people together and embraces differences. Black, white, brown, Catholic, Jewish, or Muslim, rich or poor, rural or urban, Republican or Democrat, long hair, short hair, no hair. They're all in that locker room together. Teams all over this country are the purest form of humanity that we have. We don't judge. We embrace differences. We live, we learn, we grow, we support, and we defend each other. We're a family.
Is our Penn State coach stepping up, or, I mean, it seems like he's a believer, right?
Yeah. Well, so from the beginning, this fan calls himself a fan. This 78-year-old fan,
not a fan.
Dave Peterson.
He's not a fan.
Writes a letter criticizing players' dreadlocks. Saying they're starting to look like the Florida players, and just it's sloppy, and this is not what he likes to see, and he doesn't appreciate these haircuts on the field, and he just thinks they would look better this way, and just a whole lot of not his business. And why is he worried about it?
Right.
You don't pay people for their haircuts on the field, so what are you tripping off of?
And by the way, you probably haven't been to a game. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. You probably haven't paid any money for a game. Probably sitting on your sofa, drinking a brew, eating some potato chips, with also running down your lips, being a racist on your sofa. I'm not going to shame you, but I think
that it's racist. But what he's asking for is complete assimilation.
Right.
Is what he's requiring from players who are playing in a game. He wants complete assimilation. So he wrote another letter. He responded again, wrote another letter, and was like doubling down. And they're saying I'm being racist. I wasn't being racist. I was just saying I don't like their haircuts and their dreadlocks and that's what we know what you said, sir. We read it. It was a letter.
Yeah.
There was no misinterpretation.
And put his name on it too,
racist,
by the way.
honey. Yeah, Dave Peterson.
Put his name on. He's like, I'm racist and I'm proud. You know, black and I'm proud. He's racist and I'm proud. You know, and then he started getting all this hate mail. He started getting a lot of hate mail too, they said, you know, because people are trying to move outside of that, right? That stereotype. You know, people are trying to live beyond that. You know, if I can't grow hair on my head. I'm bald. Some people don't like bald people. You know, but you can't criticize me for not having hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what? I mean, give me a break. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I could wear dreads, I probably would wear dreads. As a matter of fact, I would have on dreads if I can wear. I want dreads.
I got you.
I don't want those.
I'm gonna hook you up.
I don't want those dreads. I want something I can grow.
We gonna fake it till we make it.
No, I ain't making nothing till I make it. I ain't going to buy no dreads for my hair. If y'all see me in dreads, y'all just put me down.
It's your choice.
It's my choice.
I'm going to write a letter
Yeah.
to the intersection.
Yeah, right. I probably have 10 pairs of dreads showing up at my doorstep from the viewers, and I don't want them. Hey.
Pairs of dreads.
Hey, thanks for tuning in with us. Thank you for following us. Thank you for liking, super chatting on Zoe What Show. Thank you for listening to The Intersection. And again, we appreciate your support. Vibe Free, Inglewood, thanks for having us. And thanks for tuning in to Dash. God bless you. We'll see you this time, same time, next time, right here. I'm Senator Isadore Hall.
Nikki Flores.
Be nice to people. God bless. We're out.